Hey, from my kitchen. I just wanted to share an update of how I'm doing in my recovery journey because I've had so many messages from people wanting to know how it's going with my foot and, since sharing all the things. And I've been quiet. I've been quiet because unfortunately it's gone backwards. And, I'm actually taking a rest. I'm actually sitting in my kitchen because I'd planned to do a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm had to sit in my kitchen on my knee scooter, and take a break because I'm in pain. I'm in chronic pain all the time. So initially everything went really well, came out of surgery like a bat out of hell, doing all the walking, doing all the things that the surgeon recommended. And I was really excited, we've turned a corner, it's great. We're now on this healing journey. And then I just crashed and went backwards. And when I spoke to the podiatrist and the physio, they were like, you actually, your fascia isn't stable enough. You have a 2 centimeter hole in your fascia, and you can't feel half your foot. So you have no proprioception in your toes. So you can't feel as you're walking. So it's a really odd feeling. And so I'm not making the progress that I thought I was going to make. And from a psychological perspective, that can be really frustrating for people when they're on a healing journey. It's like you have this idea of how healing is supposed to look, and then you have to surrender to the reality. You have a goal, and then there's the reality. And now you have to explore your options and be willing enough to work through them. So the thing that I want to kind of talk about is the fact that what I've realized, and I actually had this conversation with a client earlier this week, who's also on a healing journey from a chronic disease, is that healing goes forwards and it goes backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards, and hopefully on an upward trajectory of healing. It's micro, tiny little changes and things that actually lead overall to a healing and recovery experience. So it's being patient enough and alert enough. And what I've started doing is journaling to kind of notice, am I noticing any changes? Am I noticing improvements at all? And I think that has been important, is to sort of go back and go, okay, no, there has been this upward trajectory and this trend towards positivity, but it's maybe not looking exactly how I wanted it to look. So I'm also in that next part is actually grieving and the loss of being able to walk barefoot, the loss of feeling in my foot, the loss of and the grief of maybe I'll never have certain things that I had before. I really love playing squash, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to return to squash. So I have to be patient, and I have to just work with the recovery steps. The next part is treating yourself like an athlete and making sure that I keep my inflammation as low as possible. So really looking after myself, getting enough sleep, focusing on de-stressing, that I'm mentally well, but also physically well. I'm working with my PT, with whatever exercise I can do. So Jay and I are sort of figuring out, well, you can do this, so let's do that. So my upper body is going to be so strong at the end of this because my lower body has limitations of what it can do right now. So I'm just going with that, going with what I can do and noticing those micro steps and moves forward. Next is maintaining a positive mindset. And sometimes that's really hard. That's really hard when the reality doesn't give you any data or evidence that positivity or hope is in the future. Is just holding that vision, and my vision is being able to walk barefoot on the beach again. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's okay. It's okay. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And we just keep holding that and just keep noticing those micro changes. So keeping that positive outlook regardless of what reality is giving you, whilst also allowing the space to grieve the loss. It's a tricky balance. And what I find is I give myself time to do the grieving, and then I give myself time to then focus on, okay, let's orientate and get back on track. And by doing these kind of micro grieving cycles and then focusing again on that positive track, I find that I'm keeping it real, but also trending upwards, So last night I was able to go out with my friends with my knee scooter and my knee boot and all that kind of stuff, and I was in pain, but I, took the meds and I had like a semblance of normalcy, which was like, a breather from like being, this like patient, and it was like, I really needed that. So you need these like injections of normalcy wherever possible, and maintaining the function and the life and whatever that you had before as much as possible, because that continuity is really important to not have such a break from your former self. So that's how I'm doing. Thank you so much for everyone's messages. I've had so many messages from people, and I really, really appreciate that, your thoughts, your insights, your ideas. And if you are also struggling on the journey, just know, I'm with you in it. Like, it's tough. It's tough when you're going through a recovery, and sometimes it's like, I thought you were better by now. So people sort of say things, and it's trying not to take that personally or make meaning of that, to just go, okay, I also thought so, but here we are, and we're just doing what we can. And really just appreciate all the support, and I'll keep updating you. Thanks for listening. Take care.